High voltage breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. US Supreme Court blocks President Trump's military troops deployment in Chicago area. This is very new incident in American history of 257 years. For now, the US Supreme Court upheld a lower court's decision stopping the deployment of National Guard troops ordered by President Donald J. Trump, a decision tied to legal challenges from Illinois officials. I have a back-to-back breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Russian forces launched a massive attack on Ukraine involving missiles and hundreds of drones striking multiple regions. Civilians, including children, were killed and injured. I have been notified by Ukrainian news agency that a 4-year-old girl died in that incident. Very unexpected incident, sir. Let me welcome all of you from inside the country and around the globe. My name is Rashid Kanchan. I welcome you to SATV's International Affairs, live broadcasting from SATV's Dhaka studio. I have a very distinguished gentleman who is very good at military affairs, war, conflict, negotiation, and of course geopolitical international affairs. Brigadier General Shafat Ahmed, my very favorite, very outspoken personality. And of course from Washington we have our geopolitical correspondent Norman Flatt Barnes, a former ambassador, peace negotiator, and a very veteran journalist. I have his other identity. He was a national basketball player too. Ooh. This gentleman is 6 feet 8 inches tall. Sir, welcome, and let me begin from you. What are the breaking news you have? I already added one. President Trump has got the block from Supreme Court, upheld the lower court's decision on deployment of National Guards in Chicago. Sir.
Greetings, good morning. We are celebrating the eve of Christmas, so happy Merry Christmas. We're right here, we're getting ready to start Christmas Eve, which is traditionally a family time, very traditional time. Peace and goodwill to everyone as we move through this season. Today, as you mentioned, we have news that the Supreme Court has blocked the Trump administration attempt to deploy military in the city of Chicago. Also, a federal judge has also ruled that the Trump administration must send back, grant the money that was allocated to Democratic cities that was taken away and held up by the Trump administration because of their immigration policies. So 2 back-to-back hits to the Trump administration on this Christmas Eve. And Trump has also announced that he's going into building a Golden Fleet, starting out with a spiritual battleship, a new, large, the biggest and the best missile launching battleship. Followed by that, China has announced that they are dealing with a problem, actually not a problem, but they had made a decision, Chinese company, to take the majority of their interest in the Panama Canal. So this may cause a problem for our future battleships, not be able to go through the canal and not be able to move freely through the United States. Also, jumping across the channel, Moscow is reporting that they had another attack, killing of 2 police officers, 24 and 25 today. And this is being associated with the attack they had last week with the general being killed. So as we move through this period of peace and goodwill, we are now seeing that there's a lot of stuff happening that is conflicting that. Thank you.
All right, sir. I have got so much of breaking news stories popping up in the world leading news outlets. I want to begin from Russia-Ukraine war, renewed intense strikes and peace talks. I have a general here in my studio. Sir, my first question I just want to do, how do the recent attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure affect civilian resilience as well as winter readiness. I have had the opportunity to stay in Kiev and Donbass in 2014 during the winter season. I have seen what a terrible winter is that. Without even heavy clothes you cannot go outside, you cannot even open the window.
Thank you very much. First of all, Merry Christmas to Mr. Norman, wishing him and his family a very happy Christmas and New Year, and hope that the next year will be less eventful as compared to this year. So coming to
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So coming to the Russian attack on Ukraine, this is probably a continuity of what have been happening, because probably there is some symbol of negotiation. So Russia wants to impose and confirm that they have the capability and they have the upper hand, so that they can negotiate it better in their own way. So for that purpose, they will not let off the attack unless Ukraine succumbs to the pressure. At least that not joining NATO, and at the same time also accepting the conditions. Because what you said, the bitter winter that they are going to face is certainly going to be problematic for Ukraine.
All right, sir. Let me read out the latest news has come to me is major Russian drone and missile attacks killed civilians in Ukraine, hit energy infrastructure and caused widespread outrages. Russian forces also struck Odessa's port twice in one day. At the same time, Ukraine and the US and European officials have prepared draft peace and security documents after talks in Miami. Let me ask a question to Norman, depends on this latest bulletin. Sir, to what extent do the draft peace or security documents signal a viable path toward ending the war? I think the question is very clear. Clear-cut answer is very important right this moment at this situation.
The situation right now with the additional attacks, the drones, the winter is now really coming to the region. And Putin has announced that he has taken over another region, another portion of Ukraine. Puts a lot of pressure on the talks in Miami, puts a lot of pressure on Ukraine to basically come to a solution, a ceasefire, a concession, some type of agreement to basically stop this madness. There's a lot of a concern about the people ability to maintain and sustain themselves. Yes, the UK, the European Union is prepared to provide money for them to continue this confrontation, but the mental aspect of this is very hard on the people there, and it's very also now affecting how people are considering. Do they want to give up the land? Do they want to continue to fight? But right now, the elements and the circumstances are not looking favorable for a continuation of the war. Some type of concession, it may be more than they want, but they want this situation to end.
Yes, sir. I have back-to-back question to General Shafat. He understands war, conflict, disaster, and also negotiation in international level. Sir, if I ask you a question like this, are Russian tactical goals shifting with these recent strikes, humanitarian pressure versus battlefield gain? Is this the technique of Vladimir Putin?
I think in a way, yes. Because Russians do not look at the humanitarian aspect much seriously. For them, their tactical goal is the prime thing. And if you recollect, a few days back, Mr. Putin has said that he has almost achieved the tactical goal that he wanted to achieve in Ukraine. Probably a few more objectives that he would like to capture before he sits finally for the negotiation. Because the more land or the more area that he will have under his arm, he will be able to negotiate it better.
Very,
Right.
very diplomatic answer. I'm sure Norman will respond, General Shafat. With that, I want to add one question. What role should NATO or non-European partners play in strengthening Ukrainian defenses?
I agree with my comrade. The negotiation leverage is tilting more towards Russia. The more land they take, the more attacks, the more destruction of the infrastructure leads to Russia's getting their requests their way. They feel like they're in a very comfortable position, a position of control, where now the countries of Ukraine has to accept some type of decision or go down in defeat. So right now is a very critical time. The timing between now and the end of the month it will determine on the terms of this agreement. But everybody wants again to have some type of secession. Hopefully, going to next year that we have a ceasefire and some type of plan to move forward.
Norman is very to the point, sir.
That's
He
right.
is a genuine journalist. He's a genuine ambassador. He's a genuine peace negotiator. He understands this kind of issues better than all of us because he has the experience to cover White House, Oval Office, Congress, Senate. He lives in Washington. He understands and he has seen the world leaders movement. Sir, my last question regarding this: how might continued violence influence the political landscape in Russia, Ukraine, and also the United States?
You have brought in three countries: Russia, Ukraine, and United States. First of all, let me clear United States. USA is not much affected by what is happening in Ukraine. That is a different issue if you want to discuss sometime. United States is an unique country in the world, so that is a different. Now coming to Ukraine and Russia, the biggest loser is Ukraine. Because in the long run, it is Ukraine who are the sufferer. Russia historically has been seen that they have utilized their strategic depth that they have. They have the resources, they can come back very quickly, they have the know-how, they can work it out, and they have the fund also, resources also. On the other hand, Ukraine, whatever it has been losing every day. And as a matter of fact, it is now probably will end up in asking help from every European country.
All right, sir. I'm very grateful to our very respected viewers from around the globe. I have received a very relevant question from one of the respected audience. Probably he lives in Russia or Ukraine. I have no idea about him. His name is Sharul Islam Bhuban. He has done a very relevant question. I'm sure Norman will be the best fit to face this question. Ukraine's general staff said that Russian troops had a significant advantage in manpower and equipment and had exerted constant pressure on the defending Ukrainian troops by staging a small unit assaults in difficult weather conditions. I'm sure this is a very relevant question. I will ask the same question to General Shafat also because he has a long career in defense department. First, Sharul Islam Bhuban's question, I want to pass it to Washington.
Thank you for the question. But what we're seeing is a strategic process that is acting the way out. By having small garrisons, small we call task force units attacking from Russia into the mainframe of the existing Ukrainian troops, is a devastator. Basically, they are now moving from point to point, not a full frontal engagement, but they're moving more like a guerrilla type movement, attacking strategic points, popping in, popping out. The Ukrainian army and military do not have that ability to counter that. They have to have a front because they are now under siege and they don't know where the next attack is going to be, next coming. So they have to stay on full alert. Military and any type of force, even law enforcement, cannot maintain a constant state of siege 24/7 without problem. So there is a major concern about fatigue. Fatigue will sit in, and if you have to be up 24 hours a day, and your counter person is not, he go to sleep, he wake up, and when another attack, you come from the east, you come from the west, you come from the flank, you come from the north, you come from the south, and you're doing it in an irrational way. It causes a mental problem and also fatigue, and mistakes are being made. And then there's a point in time where, can we continue this? We have to make a decision. So you're going to see troops starting to, I'm not say defect, but starting to surrender because between the weather and not having enough sleep, not having resources, and not understanding what's going on, pretty soon the communications will be cut off between the front line and the back line. That is also add into the fatigue, and it will cause the troops to do things outside of their discipline. So it is a very dangerous situation for Ukraine. Things are happening, and they have no control. Only thing they can do is basically hold on and hope for another day.
Sir, I'm very curious to talk about the Supreme Court's or Department of Justice rule on Trump's National Guard deployment. Would you please explain how it works according to the Constitution of United States of America? Because I can see this news is popping up as #1 trending in the global medias, and it is saying that Trump has got the first blocks from the Department of Justice. Would you please explain to our viewers, because we are not so much expert on American Constitution and its federal laws?
Yes, basically, in a summary, the Constitution do not allow for us to, the United States, to put our military on our streets, countries, counties, cities, whatever, without a situation where there's a state of emergency put on by the president. He has to go and talk to Congress about that, get Congress approval, but there must be a state of war or eminent domain, where eminent domain is questioned and an emergency exists. In this situation, the Trump administration has created their own emergency in their mind to justify them deploying troops in the city. The courts has ruled that this is not enough, is not sufficient to have our military in the streets dealing with crime issues, not at war issues. Even though we're talking about a war on terrorism, it is not identified as that situation. So you're now going to see the court step up, and there'll be additional ruling about the deployment of U.S. military troops in their own backyard, their own neighborhoods, in regards to a perceived threat of national security. That is the issue. The perception doesn't meet the high watermark required to deploy troops in a emergency situation in the States.
I think Norman sir has explained in a very easy way to understand it, sir. As an outsider, if I ask you a question like this, do you think this kind of action by or reaction or respond by the Department of Justice is a kind of balance of power, beauty of democracy, or it is a kind of rule, something to protect the citizens?
Thank you. Now, U.S. Constitution provides certain power to the president, but they are also limited, because initially when the U.S. Constitution was formulated, they had ensured that the president should not have complete what you call power. They had created a check and balance, and it had been going on very well. As you see, anytime a president had tried to use some military force anywhere in the past, also he had to get the approval from the Congress. In this case also, he bypassed the Congress and ordered deployment. So here the Department has prevailed, and they have tried to uphold the Constitution, as I understand. And that is the beauty in U.S. System, because all the three branches of a state, that is legislature, executive and the judiciary, they are all independent. So they can act according to their
requirement of the citizens.
It's a very good thing that the Justice Department has blocked President Trump's action. So that indicates that President Trump cannot just act as he feels like.
All right, sir, more actions and reactions, impressions and expressions are coming through different channels to me. I will go over there later on. Now, let us come for another region. Trump administration and global security or military strategy, sir. President Trump's administration announced a new class of Trump class. I repeat, Trump class naval warships to enhance US maritime dominance, part of broader strategic priorities amid Russia and China's concerns. Economic data shows the US is growing at a 2-year high, which also affects global influence. I found it very important at this moment for Norman sir to explain us how will a new class of US warships reshape naval power balances in the Indo-Pacific and NATO theaters, sir.
Thank you for this question. And I'm just going to start out with my response by saying, in the effort of making America great again, we are now digressing back to the days of the battleship. As anybody who's been involved in the military of watching how we progress, the battleship had its day. It had its day. To revise and provide a bigger, a larger, a more streamlined battleship concept is not conducive to the future. We are now entering a new age of dealing with conflict. You're noticing AI, we're noticing drones, we're noticing smaller and leaner navies. Most navies are not large, they are small, they're quick, and basically is submarines. Battleships are slow and they're easy targets. I don't care what you say, a drone can take out a battleship. It's just like we look at the situation with the Bismarck. You remember back in World War II, supposed to be the latest and the greatest battleship. They had two conflicts, and they was able to get rid of them. They were able to sink the ship. They are too large, and with technology and the swiftness of speed, satellites, and imaging, they are setting themselves up for being a sitting duck. I just mentioned about the issue with the Panama Canal, maybe a situation. So these large cruising fighting machines have to cruise around and move around. And the more they move around in the open seas, exposed, they are vulnerable to be destroyed. So we may see another situation if this battleship develop another, I call a Bismarck II situation, may come up. And I don't see where it's going to have an effect. It may have an embarrassment on the Navy. And but right now everything is fast, hyper fast. Unless this ship is hypersonic, I don't think it has anything, any bearing or any help to our naval forces.
Sir, I have learned once a general, always a general. Once a soldier, always a soldier. I want to relate Trump's new naval power balance with Asia and European alliances. That's why I have designed a question for General Shafat. How do these military priorities impact alliances with European Union alliances and Asian partners?
This is a very complicated question. It's not you can't get a simple answer on this, because the many things are intricately related to this. Now, I'll first go back to the first question that you asked, Mr. Norman, about regarding the new battleship. And as Mr. Norman has pointed out, he is quite right, because in the modern age, these large battleships, they are not that fast. And under the present circumstances, with the advancement in AI and cyber technology,
including hypersonic.
So all these things combined, how these battleships affect? Now, my question is that comes to my mind is probably Mr. Trump is trying to create a situation whereby, like in Bangladesh, the Hasina tried to put everything with Bangabandhu. So Trump is trying to create something like that. He is trying to put his stamp on everywhere, that there will be Trump class.
He wants to make his name great again.
Also. But then, will it really have any value in the future? Because just recently, I listened to a commentary by one of the Chinese professor from Shanghai Institute of International Studies. His comment was that they are not much worried about what USA is doing now. They will take another 20 to 25 years to come and match with USA. And only then the question will come, where does USA stand and where does China stand? Because we are heading for another Cold War probably in about another 25, 30 years time, unless someone takes a big leap forward, a jump, and then becomes a real superpower. So, as far as the what you said about the alliance, European alliance, now you have to understand one thing. Europe is, they used to call Turkey or Ottoman Empire as the sick man of Europe. Probably Europe itself has become sick now, because in another 15, 20 years time, European economy will be so much stressed and in such a condition that they will face problem to maintain their own defenses. Because you must understand the situation. One, population wise they are declining.
Negative growth.
Negative growth. Next, resource wise they are almost at the peak. There is not much possibility. They are all going to be dependent on the services and technology. And thirdly, as I was talking to you, that question of guns versus butter, where do they spend the money? Because the defense expenditure, they have to maintain it within certain limit. Because if they have to increase the defense expenditure, they will cut on the social security, on the social aspects, on health, education, the welfare sectors. So these are the things which are going to affect their policies. So how much the alliance will be active, or how much they can contribute to the defense, is a big question.
So fascinating. One thing you said, that after 20 years European economy will be totally saturated. I want to mention one book for our viewers to read by Ralph Hartman, a German professor. He has written a book published recent time. The name of that book is Saturation of European Economy, Reasons and Remedy. It will be a good book, good resource to understand what General Shafat means. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for a short commercial break.
সারা দেশে লাখো মানুষের কঠোর কর্মতৎপরতা ও নিষ্ঠায় এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস এখন 16 কোটি মানুষের হাতের নাগালে। দীর্ঘ 30 বছর ধরে বিশ্বস্ততা ও দ্রুততার সাথে সেবা দেওয়ায় গ্রাহক সেবায় এখন শীর্ষে। বাংলাদেশে গ্রাহক সেবার সাফল্যের পর এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস এখন বিশ্ব বাণিজ্য কেন্দ্র সিঙ্গাপুরে। আপনার যে কোনো পণ্য সিঙ্গাপুর থেকে বাংলাদেশে বুকিংয়ের জন্য যোগাযোগ করুন। এসএ পরিবহন প্রাইভেট লিমিটেড, লজিস্টিক্স পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস, 22 রবার্টস লেন, সিঙ্গাপুর 218302। ফোন 0065 629 24900। বাংলাদেশ থেকে সিঙ্গাপুরে পণ্য বুকিংয়ের জন্য যোগাযোগ করুন ঢাকা সহ দেশের যে কোনো 80টি শাখা কেন্দ্রে। এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস, আপনার সেবা সব সময়।
Welcome, Grand Palace Hotel.
Gaza Christian community marks Christmas amid conflict. I have seen a video footage in Reuters Live this morning. Is devastated. There is nothing left, but they are celebrating Christmas in Bethlehem areas. Ladies and gentlemen, despite destruction and hardship from the Israel-Hamas war, Gaza's small Christian community is trying to observe Christmas under a fragile ceasefire, holding services and bringing some holiday spirit to displaced families. Let us talk about Israel-Gaza conflict and global protest. Before that, I want to put the news for Norman and General Shafat sir. Climate activist Greta Thunberg was arrested in London during a pro-Palestinian protest tied to the ongoing Gaza conflict, highlighting global civic tensions. High-level peace proposals, including Trump's role in a Gaza ceasefire framework, continue to draw international reactions. News is complicated. I want to do question first to Norman sir. What do global protests tell us about international public opinions on the Gaza-Israel conflict, and why this girl, well-respected girl, new generation girl, Greta Thunberg, is arrested in UK?
Thank you again. What the world is stating and what Rita is trying to bring to light is that this situation in Gaza is unacceptable on world and global terms. We cannot coexist in an environment where a group, a segment of any part of the human race is being oppressed, suppressed, and systematically eliminated. It's ironic that the Israelis administration has adopted this policy because their inception coming into Israel was based on the same thing they had in Europe. They had to leave, they had to survive, they had to find another place. But apparently they have learned the lessons too well, and their goal is to basically to eliminate what we call the Palestinian state. The potential for that. They want to claim the whole land, and they
very well articulated,
So
well articulated journalism, sir. Tomorrow is Christmas. I will expect you to come on the screen with a Christmas dress, because we will have very difficult show tomorrow, because one of the very famous political leader will come back from exile tomorrow, so our transmission will be in live. And as Christmas Day, we want to see you in a Christmas dress. And you have seen, you are so popular, people are writing your name in the social media. Sir, I wish you a very good day, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I'll see you tomorrow again, sir.
Yes, Merry Christmas. And also one part of that, I did not play in the NBA. I played professionally in South America, and I was a USA basketball member, member of the USA team, which we won a gold medal in South America, Brazil.
You are a
Thank
legendary
you.
person, sir. Wherever you have worked, you have done the legendary jobs. I really appreciate that I met such a great personality. Ladies and gentlemen, let us come back to studio, and before I go to the next subject, I will request production team to go for a short commercial break. এখন স্যার
A majestic lobby, blending timeless elegance with modern design. Experience 5-star comfort in suites and rooms. Sophisticated fine dining restaurant. Crystal clear swimming pool for ultimate relaxation. Modern gym and serene spa for well-being. Perfect venue for corporate events, weddings and parties. Seamless and secured. Elegant and eye-catching design. Indulge, relax, discover the first 5-star chain hotels in Bangladesh. Grand Palace Hotel Dhaka, 22 Kakrail, Dhaka, Bangladesh.
Welcome to Grand Club at Mirpur 10 Dhaka. Elegant spa and wellness facility for ladies and gents.
Here is a breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Major accident, plane crash in Turkey. A Falcon 50 plane crash near Ankara killed 8 people, including Libya's top military chief. In a major incident affecting Libyan strategic leadership and regional stability, it is a big news for that particular area. Is this a plane crash or assassination? Questions are coming from Middle East based outlets. I want to do this question, which is very relevant for a general like General Shafat. Sir, what are the short term and long term implications for Libyan political and military balance before this incident and after this incident?
Thank you very much. As from the news that you have seen for the last few days, Libya is trying to reorganize its defense forces. There was a news few days back that Libya and Pakistan has signed an MOU whereby Pakistan will be supplying military equipment worth about over $4 billion to Libya for next few years. That is one big. And secondly, from there, from the news that has come, that probably he is the chief of staff.
Yes, sir.
He is the head of the Libyan army who has died. He had gone to Turkey for some talks. Now, we do not know whether it is assassination or it is a normal accident, whichever may be. But generally what happens is in such cases, I don't know the internal situation in Libya, but there's supposed to be automatic, the hierarchy remains there. If the chief is for some reason died or killed or incapacitated, there is normally the next person who is there to take over. So in this case, we do not know what was the situation. And as far as the, because it seems that probably there have been some movement towards the stability in Libya. So whether it will affect that situation is difficult to say from now, because we do not know much about the Libya's inside story.
Sir, Libya's Army Chief of Staff General Muhammad Ali Ahmed al-Haddad and 7 others have died in that incident. The news is saying that delegation was returning from defense talks with Turkish officials when contact was lost and the aircraft crashed. Prime Minister Abdullah Devi declared 3 days of national mourning and said the loss of a serious blow to efforts to unify Libya's fragmented military. If it is so, Prime Minister's concern, then I might ask you one question: how might this loss affect Libya's internal security and external ties, especially NATO's and neighbors? Strategically, Libya is very connected with African countries because its situation in Eastern Africa. It is also very much tied up with the Middle East region.
Now, coming to what impact his death will have is difficult to ascertain right now, because internally, as I said, Libya is trying to reorganize themselves. They are trying to build their country fresh. So, it might have a setback on that aspect. And as far as the other factors, how it will be affecting the modernization of the Libyan army is also to be taken into consideration. As I said, it depends on how the Libyan army's hierarchy has developed so far. We do not know much about their Libyan army's hierarchy. We do not know much about how the internal stability situation is. But what I have read is probably they have been able to stabilize to some extent. Yes, it might have, it might slow down the rapprochement that was going on. But then, if the other leaders are serious, and if they take if they are probably more concerned about the country, probably it will not have much of effect.
All right, sir, let us come back to our motherland. I mean, Bangladesh's issue. Tomorrow there will be a big event take place. The Vice Chairman of Bangladesh Nationalist Party BNP, Mr. Tariq Rahman, will return to home after 70 years of exile.
So he is acting chairman.
Acting chairman, he is coming back to Bangladesh. His party is taking preparations to welcome him on the motherland. But the question is, what impact will be his arrival in their country's current situation, current politics, and future reshaping of our democracy? I want to ask this question to you, sir. You have a very bird's eye observation on the political parties' activities, new generation Gen Z's activities, and the interim's activities.
Thank you very much. It's all mysterious, because there's so much of gossip going around in the social media that it is very difficult to confirm or ascertain exactly what is going to take place. Now, Mr. Tariq Rahman's coming back is a great event. It is making the what do you call the circle complete. He was pushed out of the country with probably an undertaking that he will not take part in politics anymore, that sort of thing. But he's coming back, and coming back with a hero's welcome, because the country is expecting. But if you look at Bangladesh today, there is a leadership crisis in Bangladesh, because there has not been much upward movement of the leaders. We are probably we are in a state of stagnation as far as leadership is concerned. We do not have many new leaders coming up. Now, Tariq Rahman coming in, we do not know. We have not seen him for last 16, 17 years. What you saw 16, 17 years back was something else. There are a lot of things which are going around at that time against him, the Hawab and other instances. But then whether he has changed, how he has changed, because what I have been hearing about him and what he has been talking on the TV through the virtual media seemed as if probably he has understood the intricacies of politics, and probably he now realizes that the importance of acting soberly, taking decisions with maturity, these things will matter.
Sir, if you are correct, I will be very happy. But I have few questions regarding the public interest. It is the first time some political party is going to make a political gathering, I should say massive gathering in a road like 300 feet, which is called now the expressway of 36 July. And as per the traffic information, the most number of transports cross this road coming and going. So, if this road is used for this kind of massive program, can you imagine how many people will be affected on their regular journey through this road? Number one, which organization has permitted this place for the meeting, and which people has taken and chosen this place? Don't you think it is going against the public interest? Let us be very honest, sir.
Okay. To be honest, yes, your question is, these questions are genuine. It is going to create problem. It is going to create hardship for the people. But at the same time, there is one big issue. We are a very emotional nation. We go by emotion. That's the problem. We do not try to go by logic. Now, BNP is eager to show to the people of the country that how popular their leader is and how popular the party is. So, they want to make a sort of showdown here. So, that is the thing. Now, your question is, why select that particular spot? Why not the normal places that you had inside the city? Now, there are both pros and cons, because if you had something to such program inside the city, that would have created other problems. It would have probably blocked the entire city. Now, instead of that, they are probably going outside the city in a much open area. One, probably what they could, I do not know, I have not been there, I have not seen. They could have probably, if they have planned earlier, I don't know whether they have done it or not, they could have probably planned that for next 24, 48 hours, the traffic could have been diverted to other routes. If they have done it, I do not know. But this should be the only occasion. This should not be a permanent feature. This sort of thing should be done. But again, because having this program inside the city or having it outside the city, it has some benefits. Probably the impact on the hardship on the people will be less than what is inside, because imagine if they had tried to have it in the Motijil area or around that Shapla Chottor or that area, it would have probably blocked the entire heart of the city. It would have stopped the functioning of the...
Being very honest, do you appreciate this kind of mass gathering in the public roads?
That question is, first, as I said...
Do you appreciate, sir?
I do not.
You do not appreciate. I have asked the ChatGPT what could be the best options for avoiding this kind of public, what should I say, sufferings. I have asked the ChatGPT. ChatGPT says the best option would be a national address through any media or online, what he was doing from London since couple of years. Second option, ChatGPT advises it should be in international trade fair field. That is a huge field.
That is also.
ChatGPT advises it should be in Vishwa Istema field.
Yes.
ChatGPT advises it could be avoided. He is coming, all medias are covering why this kind of mass gathering is creating public audiences. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you one thing. We have passed 54 years as disorganized nation. We have to be organized. We have huge expectation to Mr. Tariq Rahman for leading these nations. I'll be sure, and I am sure he will be taking decisions which will not create public sufferings. I will see you tomorrow.